The protagonist Huang Shaofeng unexpectedly obtained abnormal pupils, and his eyes also possessed the ability to see through everything. From then on, he rose up all the way, buying lottery tickets, playing antiques, gambling stones, and becoming a thriving business. It's still a chance to inherit the cultivation of immortals, to be carefree in the world. Chapter 1. Huang Shaofeng. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Shaofeng. Shaofeng. Huang Shaofeng. Stop. Inside Jiangqing University of Science and Technology, a thin and slender boy was walking towards the library just as he was about to enter. Suddenly, a girl's shout came from behind him, with a hint of coquettishness in her voice. Huang Shaofeng originally intended to pretend not to hear and hide directly in the library. But the voice came not far behind him, and the person was right behind him, unable to pretend anymore. Slowly turning around, I saw the girl walking briskly. Beauty. Huang Shaofeng was not the first to see this girl and couldn't help but praise her. Lin, what's up with you calling me? Suppressing my thoughts, I calmly asked the other person as if I really didn't know what was happening. In fact, he knew very well in his heart why Lin Qianer came after him, but he dared not face it. Huang Shaofeng is very clear that he is just a child who grew up in the mountains, without money or power. Studying hard is his only way out of the mountains, so he studies very hard, focuses on everything, and never dares to slack off. However, he did not provoke others, but others did not keep him quiet, and Lin Qianer was one of them. Lin Qianer, one of the top 10 campus beauties of Jiangqing University of Science and Technology, has a charming face, a curvaceous figure that catches people's attention and is irresistible. If she were born in ancient times, she would definitely be a demon that harms the country and the people. She herself is also very proud of her appearance. But her arrogant appearance, Huang Shaofeng turned a blind eye, which made her very angry. She even made a joke and bet with her best friend in Ruoshi that in just 1 month, Huang Shaofeng would admit to being her boyfriend. No, that's all for now. And the deadline she set for the next month is approaching. She can't afford to lose this person. I naturally have something to do with you. Lin Qianer didn't expect Huang Shaofeng to ask like this, leaving her at a loss and forced to play tricks. Tonight at 8 o'clock at the moon-watching pavilion in Qingling Lake, we'll never see each other again. Seeing all the classmates around her looking over, even though Lin Qianer had a bold and aggressive personality, she felt a bit embarrassed. A rare blush rose on her face, and she said a word before running away. Humph. Huang Shaofeng, you made me lose face in front of so many people. How can I mess with you? Huang Shaofeng looked at his distant figure and felt a strange feeling in his heart. As soon as this feeling began to sprout, it startled him. He quickly shook his head, suppressed the slight tremors, and turned around to enter the library. Qingling Lake covers an area of over 50 square kilometers, with a coastline of nearly 100 miles. There are many scenic spots, among which the moon-watching pavilion is one of them. The moon-watching pavilion is built on a small hill, standing in the center of the lake, which is particularly eye-catching. Standing inside the pavilion, the lake breeze faces you, making you forget the hustle and bustle, especially on a moonlit night, giving you a sense of seclusion. The weather tonight is nice, with a bright moon hanging and reflecting in the lake, adding a sense of mystery to the moon-watching pavilion. Qianer. Aren't you really dating Huang Shaofeng? And Ruoshi couldn't believe it. Her best friend, who has always been eye-catching, took the initiative to invite a boy on a date for a bet. She thought she had hallucinated. What? You don't believe me? I told you, I'm sure I'll win this bet. You wait. Lin Qianer gently flicked her chin, confidently showing off as if she had already won. Qianer, why not? And Ruoshi wanted to persuade Lin Qianer to leave. After all, she knew that Huang Shaofeng was a straight man, and there was only one word she wanted him to come on a date. Difficulty. I remember in the first semester of my junior year, the autumn sports meet was approaching, and all classes were actively practicing, preparing to showcase their skills at the meeting. One day, when Huang Shaofeng happened to pass by the basketball court, they were playing basketball. The basketball rolled to his feet outside the court, and he bent down to pick it up. With one hand, he casually threw it, and the basketball traced a perfect curve and entered accurately. The whole process was so smooth and natural. All of this fell into the eyes of everyone, and they were shocked and stunned on the spot. More than 10 meters away, throw it casually, surprisingly, the ball scored. At that time, the leader of the basketball team invited him to join the team and promised various benefits, but Huang Shaofeng was like a stone in a pit, unwilling to agree and even unwilling to pay attention. You should know that the leader of the basketball team is also a famous school flower in the University of Science and Technology, not inferior to Lin Qianer, but Huang Shaofeng is like blind, ignoring and somewhat rejecting. At that time, Huang Shaofeng entered the eyes of some good people because of his handsome and aloof demeanor, and was even awarded the title of New School Draft. Everyone who knows him knows that his family is very poor and he has been working to earn money, so many people secretly call him a dog-tailed rascal. How could he come on a date when he's already like this? Lin Qianer thought Ruoshi had retreated, but she was not willing. She made an appointment with Huang Shaofeng in public, and she felt embarrassed. How could she regain face? Don't worry. He will definitely come, so you're ready to be beaten up by me. Obviously, Lin Qianer did not understand Huang Shaofeng. In her understanding, a beautiful woman like her took the initiative to invite the other party, but the other party quickly came over to kneel and lick. Reality made her collapse and hit her hard in the face. 7.30, 8 o'clock, 8.30, waiting for 10 o'clock without seeing Huang Shaofeng's figure, Lin Qianer finally couldn't help but shed tears and crimson eyes. Ah. Huang Shaofeng. I hate you. Miss, I must kill you. Stinky loser. A country bumpkin. I, Lin Qianer, swear. To kneel before me, life is better than death. Ruoshi felt both fear and worry when she saw her best friend like that, and quickly stepped forward to support her. Qianer. Don't be angry. He doesn't come because he has no vision, and it's not worth your anger. In the library, Huang Shaofeng had been reading a classic book and had long forgotten about Lin Qianer's date. Of course, even if he hadn't forgotten, he wouldn't have gone. Huang Shaofeng's family is located in a remote mountainous village called Changshan Lake. There are a total of 5 people in the family, including his father Huang Changsheng, mother Wanyu, elder sister Huang Shaoling, second brother Huang Shaobing, and him. Before he went to college, his family had good economic conditions. His father, Huang Changsheng, was a carpenter and also had a good hand in wood carving, making him a famous figure in the entire county. Not only does he take on some work outside, but he also can't stay idle at home. He carves some small things, sends them to the county town for sale, subsidizes the family, and makes their life relatively comfortable. If it weren't for providing education for Huang Shaofeng and his siblings, there wouldn't be much burden on the family. However, there are unpredictable circumstances in the sky, and people have their fortunes and misfortunes. In Huang Shaofeng's freshman year, his father Huang Changsheng went to the mountains to chop trees and accidentally broke his leg. Due to delayed treatment, his leg fell ill and he limped while walking, causing his family's pillar to collapse and falling into a difficult situation. Originally, Huang Shaofeng wanted to give up his studies and go out to work to help his family, but his father refused to allow it, and even forced him to do so. He even said that as long as Huang Shaofeng dared to give up his studies, he would die to show him. Huang Shaofeng could only dispel the idea of dropping out of school. However, from that moment on, he felt a mountain in his heart. Under long-term suppression, his personality also changed, losing his original liveliness and cheerful demeanor. He became silent and even somewhat isolated. Chapter 2. Being Beaten. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It was then that he began to study and work tirelessly, relying solely on himself for all his expenses. Since then, he has had no leisure time, either busy with studying or working to earn money. During his 3 years in college, apart from returning home during the Spring Festival, he stayed in Jiangqing to study and work. At 11 o'clock in the evening, Huang Shaofeng left the library, holding a thick book in his hand, not in the direction of the dormitory, but on the other side of the sports field. To the east of Jiangqing University of Science and Technology is a sports field, and whether during the day or at night, there are always many people in this area. Huang Shaofeng often comes to this area. Whenever the library closes, he comes here because there are lights, which are also the brightest places at night. He usually reads and reviews here. In the blink of an eye, it was the weekend again. Huang Shaofeng simply tidied up and prepared to go to the food street, where he worked part-time on weekends and evenings. Suddenly, a fragrant breeze blew in, and then I felt a soft and boneless little hand gripping my right hand. It quickly loosened, leaving a warm and fragrant letter in the palm of my hand. When he turned around to look, there was only a beautiful figure left behind the classroom. Although it was just a silhouette, he could still confirm that it was a beautiful woman. What is this for? A love letter. Huang Shaofeng muttered to himself, ready to throw it into the trash can, but hesitated for a moment. Due to family reasons, he hasn't had the heart to make girlfriends or have many friends in the past 3 years. The ones he can talk to are his 2 roommates, whom he never considered. For this reason, he didn't think he had such great charm and would be pursued by beautiful women, so he thought this letter might be something else. Shaofeng. Let's go. My roommate Zhang Lijun patted his shoulder and urged him to hurry up. The 2 of them were working at the same house, but Zhang Lijun was working to buy a phone for his girlfriend, while Huang Shaofeng was working to make money to support his family. He casually put the letter into his pocket and left the classroom with Zhang Lijun, running towards the outside of the school. On Friday night, the delicious food street in the university city was particularly lively. After a week of studying, if there were some conditions, they would invite each other in groups of 3 to have a meal and socialize. Langgu. Huang Shaofeng and Zhang Lijun arrived at a large food stall and greeted a young man in his 20s who was the owner of the stall, Shen Rilang. Shen Rilang smiled and said, "Here we go. Go wash the vegetables and tidy them up." This booth was originally set up by Shen Rilang and his wife. Recently, his wife became pregnant and her health was weak. Doctors suggested staying at home for more rest, so Shen Rilang hired Huang Shaofeng and his wife. Huang Shaofeng has loved cooking since he was young, and his cooking skills are good. Shen Rilang asked him to be in charge of cooking, and not to mention, his business has improved a lot. The night market soon began, and people came to the delicious street one after another, and their stalls also came to a table. Fish-flavored shredded meat, steamed bass, braised eggplant. Zhang Lijun held a menu, reciting the names of the dishes on the menu while preparing side dishes and delivering them to Huang Shaofeng. Huang Shaofeng was busy in front of the fire, cleaning the iron pot and shovel, heating them over the fire, pouring in cooking oil, adding ginger, garlic, and so on. Cokes, a burst of spatulas intersected, and only a moment later, a dish of fish-flavored shredded meat with excellent color, aroma, and flavor was taken out of the pot and sent away. In the blink of an eye, it was past 11 o'clock, and Huang Shaofeng kept busy, delivering dishes one by one. In the end, he couldn't even lift his hand. Dog day. Cockroaches. Pa, Quang Dang. Suddenly, there was a commotion ahead, and a loud shout came, followed by the sound of tapping tables and chairs. Boss. Where will the boss die? Fucking Yen, give me cockroaches to eat, and see if I don't slaughter the dog food to raise them. There are 2 tables pieced together in front, with 6 young people sitting. When you look at their costumes, you can tell they are those little rascals. At this moment, all 6 of them were in a state of anger, looking like they were about to eat someone. The table in front of them was also lifted, and the food and soup on the ground were spilled all over. Shen Rilong looked embarrassed, with a gleam in his eyes. He forcefully pressed him down and walked up. "A few big brothers, I have something to say. I don't know where the small shop is not doing well. It must be improved." Pa, a young man with green hair slapped him in the face, and Shen Rilong was caught off guard and stumbling. The green-haired youth pointed to the ground and shouted angrily, "Are you particularly blind? So big a cockroach, do you want to disgust me? This is not a store, it's just a large food stall. A dining car is being pushed out, cleaned every day, and fresh food is also purchased every day. It's impossible for cockroaches to be present, so it's self-evident where this cockroach comes from." Shen Rilong repeatedly cursed the 19th generation ancestors of this group of thugs in his heart, stroked his slightly swollen cheeks, and a smile appeared on his face. He approached carefully again, trying to resolve the matter. "A few big brothers, it's all my fault. I apologize for this table today. Please give me face, big brother. This is a small business, please show me your respect." He also has no choice. These thugs have no bottom line, no face, no skin, and can do anything. If they offend them, this business will not be possible. Even if they are slapped, they can only compromise. Shen Rilong only wanted to calm down and resolve the matter, but the other party didn't want it. They came to cause trouble. Face saving. Do you really have a lot of face? The green-haired young man persisted and wanted to continue making trouble. "Okay. Then I'll give you face, because this cockroach has touched our mold," the tattooed man next to him who had not spoken suddenly interjected. "Just by the way, compensate us 10,000 yuan and then break the chef's hands as a warning. What does the boss think?" Shen Rilong never expected that these thugs would be so ruthless in their behavior, not only demanding money, but also beating people, leaving him in a dilemma. "Damn it. It seems you don't want to do business, brothers. Go ahead and smash it for me." Just as Shen Rilong was hesitating, the 6 thugs picked up their chairs and started smashing them, and 3 of them walked towards Huang Shaofeng and Zhang Lijun. For a moment, there was a constant crackling sound, and the surrounding diners were frightened and fled one after another. 3 thugs rushed towards Huang Shaofeng and Zhang Lijun, without saying a word, picked up folding stools and slammed their heads fiercely at Huang Shaofeng and Zhang Lijun. Bang! 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 Ah! The 2 were just ordinary students, not opponents of these thugs. Zhang Lijun saw the situation was not good, took advantage of the falling opportunity, rolled over directly, and fled into the alley behind him, avoiding a disaster. "Damn it! You're running quite fast." Huang Shaofeng had bad luck. He was already exhausted and was blocked by Zhang Lijun on his way, so he had no chance to escape. He was knocked down by a stool and fell to the ground. "Ah! I only felt a whirling sensation, my head buzzing, and I couldn't move for a while." Before Huang Shaofeng could even get up, the 3 of them had already gathered around, using profanity in their mouths and without stopping their hands, smashing fiercely with a crackling sound. "Special. Look at you running. Beat a little pussy to death. Wah, I don't know who called the police, but the sound of the police car came from a distance, getting closer and closer." The 6 thugs stopped and smashed, and ran away directly. Chapter 3. Coma. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, Huang Shaofeng held his head in both hands and had already fainted. He remained motionless, with blood flowing down his forehead, staining a piece of the ground red. It was truly tragic. There were many onlookers around, but no one came forward to help. They just chattered and talked about what had happened. After a moment, the police finally arrived, but the stall was also smashed and people were beaten. Those 6 little thugs had already run away without a trace. Shen Rilong quickly ran to Huang Shaofeng's side and saw that his head and body were covered in blood, and he fainted to death. He reached out to take a sniff, but fortunately, he was still breathing, and his suspended heart finally relaxed slightly. Who called the police? What happened here? What exactly is the situation? Who can come out and explain it? Several police officers rushed over, led by a middle-aged police officer. When they saw Huang Shaofeng lying on the ground, as if he was seriously injured, the leading police officer ordered the young police officers beside him. Someone is injured, call 120 quickly. Shen Rilong looked at the messy booth, his chest burning with anger, his fists clenched tightly, ready to explode at any moment. Angered, he said, I just called 120, so I won't bother you. The leading police officer didn't pay attention to Shen Rilong's tone. After all, he was the victim and it was normal for him to be a bit angry. He said calmly, what's the situation? Do you know the injured person? Shen Rilong let out a burst of complaints and calmed down, then responded, Officer, just now a few young people from society came to eat, and after they finished eating, they said there were cockroaches in the food and demanded compensation from us, and even started beating people. Then, he explained in detail the process of what happened. The leading police officer understood the situation and asked the accompanying police officers to make an inquiry record. He also had 120 people follow him to the hospital to see the situation of the injured person. Hey! Comrade police officer! Shen Rilong suddenly called out to the leading police officer. The leading police officer stopped his steps and turned to look at Shen Rilong behind him, with a puzzled expression on his face. What's wrong? Are you also injured? I want to go to the hospital to get bandaged. Shen Rilong shook his head and said, No, that injured person is the cook I hired. He's injured. I want to go see the situation. Oh. All right then. Get in the car. The leading police officer only pondered for a while before agreeing. After all, this wouldn't delay the matter. Half an hour later, Huang Shaofeng was taken to the nearest university-affiliated hospital and directly admitted to the emergency room. Due to the presence of police officers, the on-duty doctor was very cooperative and actively carried out rescue efforts. The two on-duty doctors first conducted a preliminary examination, then treated the wound on their forehead, and took some emergency measures, but Huang Shaofeng remained awake. Will the injured person hurt their head? It's causing them to be unconscious. Dr. Fong suspected in his heart and muttered softly. The other is a new intern doctor who happened to be standing next to Dr. Fong and heard him. Dr. Fong, do you need to go get a CT? Let's see the situation, he suggested in a low voice. After thinking for a while, Dr. Fong nodded and said, Xiaohu, take him to the CT room and have a full-body CT. Intern Dr. Xiaohu quickly nodded and pushed Huang Shaofeng to the CT room. Shen Rilong kept waiting, watching doctors and nurses come and go, as if very busy. He asked several times, but there was no news, which made him very worried. The police officer accompanying him was a young man in his 20s. Seeing Shen Rilong so worried, he felt a little curious in his heart. Who? Are you the owner of that stall? Are you familiar with the injured person? Do you know why those thugs want to hit him? Those thugs are very aggressive, it's like buying lives. Shen Rilong rubbed his forehead and said, the injured person is a junior student at Jiangqing University of Science and Technology. I heard his classmates talk about him, and it seems that his family conditions are not good, and he works hard to earn money during holidays. With me, he has been working for more than half a month, doing things cleanly and diligently, but not much. As for why those thugs hit him, I really don't know. The police officer said again, those thugs are clearly targeting him, otherwise how could you be okay? This. Shen Rilong couldn't figure it out. Zhonglijun was his hometown and wouldn't deceive him. I told him that Huang Shaofeng is a student who excels in both character and learning, and has no bad habits. How could he be related to thugs? This is impossible. Thinking of this, he took out his phone and dialed a call. Blinking for over an hour, Huang Shaofeng was pushed out of the emergency room, followed by Dr. Fong, who also came out. Accompanying police officers and Shen Rilong welcomed him. The police presented their documents and said, "I am Officer Kai Wenbin in charge of the case. I don't know how the injured person is. When can they wake up? I need to make a record." Which? Dr. Fong pondered for a moment before looking at Kai Wenbin. "I'm sorry, the injured person's situation is a bit complicated. I have done a series of tests, but I still haven't found the cause of his coma, and I can't be sure when he will wake up. You may have to wait." Police officer Kai Wenbin felt a bit helpless and asked, "Dr. Fong, is the injured person's injury that serious? There won't be any life-threatening danger, will there?" Dr. Fong turned his head and glanced at Huang Shaofeng, who was in a coma, with a puzzled expression on his face. "That. Although the injured person's condition is very serious, it's not a big deal. The key is that he injured his head and is now unconscious. As for the reason, I'm not sure at the moment. We can only reply to you after the expert consultation." After speaking, Dr. Fong left directly, and Huang Shaofeng was also taken to the ward and hung a hanging bottle. 3 days passed in a blink of an eye, and the hospital organized several consultations, but still couldn't find the specific cause of Huang Shaofeng's coma. Moreover, in the past 3 days, his condition has not been good, and he has become increasingly weak. "Shaofeng. Shaofeng. What's wrong with you?" Just now, Huang Shaofeng's brother Huang Shaobing arrived and saw his brother lying on the hospital bed. His eyes were moist and his face was full of worry. Police officer Kai Wenbin said, "Mr. Huang, please calm down. The person who injured your younger brother has been arrested, and we need to ask for your opinion now." Huang Shaobing felt as if he had touched his anger and said sternly, "What's your opinion? Killing someone to pay for their life, debt to pay for money, it's only natural. I want those people to pay for their lives." Kai Wenbin didn't know how to persuade him, so he could only say, "Then you should calm down. Your younger brother is currently unconscious and needs treatment in the hospital, which may require a large amount of money. We also understand your family situation and suggest that you accept mediation and reconciliation so that your younger brother can receive the best treatment. Think carefully. Once you have made a decision, you can contact me." All that was said was finished, and Kai Wenbin didn't stay any longer. He left the ward, leaving the rest to the parties involved to think for themselves. Huang Shaobing suppressed his anger and calmed himself down. He wanted to ask the attending physician about his younger brother's specific situation. Arriving at the doctor's office, I quickly found the attending physician and politely greeted them. "Hello Dr. Wang. I am the brother of Huang Shaofeng, a 29-bed patient. I would like to inquire about my brother's situation." Wang Guobing is the attending physician of neurosurgery, and it is the doctor in charge of Huang Shaofeng. Chapter 4. I Changes. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Oh. Huang Shaofeng, right. His situation is a bit complicated, let's wait until the day after tomorrow. After consulting with several professors in our hospital, we will see the situation. Huang Shaobing was not very satisfied with this answer and persisted in asking, "Dr. Wang. When can my younger brother wake up?" No. No. My younger brother won't be able to wake up in the future, right? That's how he became a vegetative. Huang Shaobing was very worried about his younger brother, and his heart was tormented. His tone was filled with concern. Dr. Wang quickly advised, "Don't worry, we will definitely do our best. The situation is not as bad as you think. We just want better targeted treatment. You must trust the doctor and the hospital." Huang Shaobing let out a deep sigh in his heart and took a serious look at Dr. Wang. His eyes were complex, with doubts, expectations, and determination. In the end, he reluctantly left Dr. Wang's office, but his worries were even heavier and he felt uneasy. After returning to the hospital room, he held his phone and looked at his younger brother on the bed, hesitating whether to dial the number. In the current situation of his younger brother, he doesn't know if he should inform his family, especially his mother. Although he is just his stepmother, he has personally experienced the meticulous care for him and his sister. Sometimes he thinks that even if his biological mother is by his side, he may not be able to do better than his stepmother. He sincerely doesn't want his stepmother to be sad and upset. However, Huang Shaofeng, after all, is the biological son of his stepmother, so how could he have less love in his heart? If she knows, she's afraid she won't be able to withstand the blow. And the father, full of hope that his younger brother can achieve success in his studies, bring glory to his family, and bring glory to his stepmother. If he knew about his brother's current situation, he would, sitting by the hospital bed, Huang Shaofeng looked at his unconscious younger brother, feeling very conflicted and his fingers swaying on his phone screen. There are also reasons why he can't make up his mind, mainly because his younger brother is currently unconscious. Even if he notifies his stepmother, only a few more people can worry, which not only does not have any benefits for his younger brother, but may even have disadvantages. However, the condition of my younger brother is unclear. If he suddenly worsens and passes away like this, parents won't even see my brother for the last time. As a parent, it would be so sad. He scratched his head, furrowed his brow into a deep groove, feeling restless and distressed in his heart. At this moment, Huang Shaofeng, who was lying in the hospital bed, underwent a transformation. Originally, when I was knocked down by that thug on a stool before, my head hit the ground first. I didn't know what hit my forehead, but it was shattered on the spot. My head spun around and I almost fainted. However, the other two thugs were closely following him, only 2 seats away from him, lifting their chairs and ready to hit him at any moment. He is not a fool either. He was foolishly beaten and immediately used both hands and feet, wanting to get up and avoid it. Unexpectedly, at this moment, his head suddenly stabbed, and before he could react, he lost consciousness and fainted. In his mind, a strange dim light suddenly appeared, and there was an inexplicable suction on the light that sucked in his body's qi and blood, making his body increasingly weak. It was like a demon living inside, devouring qi and blood, constantly eroding his life. The hospital has gathered all the experts for several consultations, but the cause has not been identified. It is only known that his body is becoming increasingly weak and severely malnourished. The experts have no choice but to prescribe some nourishing injections to nourish qi and blood, to maintain his vitality. However, the medicinal power that had penetrated his body entered his mind and was sucked in by the light cluster. With a little bit of qi, blood, and medicinal power sucked in, the dim light cluster gradually became crystal clear and shiny. Those rays of light passed through layers of membranes and converged towards his eyes. The eyes absorbed those rays of light, gradually becoming clear and profound, like a star. Although the hospital has been providing Huang Shaofeng with nutrition every day for the past 3 days, Guangtuan is still absorbing his qi and blood, making him weaker day by day. After 3 days, Huang Shaofeng is only hanging in one breath, on the brink of death at any moment, but he has been unable to breathe, leaving his attending physician puzzled. It was Monday in the blink of an eye, and Huang Shaofeng's attending physician came in with a group of old men. Huang Shaofeng quickly got up and welcomed him. Respectfully say. Number 34, Dr. Wang, what's wrong with my younger brother? When can I wake up? Dr. Wang said politely, don't worry, Mr. Huang. Several professors and experts have come today, and the patient will definitely get better. Now you go out first, and we need to start studying the patient's condition. Huang Shaofeng glanced at everyone and then deeply at his younger brother in bed. He bowed deeply to the group of elderly people and Dr. Wang before leaving the ward with a worried expression on his face. A group of professors and experts gathered around, with Dr. Wang accompanying the last seat and introducing Huang Shaofeng's situation. Professor Liu and Dr. Wang, the patient was admitted to the hospital due to being beaten to the point of serious injury. At that time, he underwent a full-body examination and CT scan. The patient suffered multiple soft tissue injuries on his body and received a heavy blow to the head, but only some external injuries, which were not enough to cause the patient to become unconscious. In the past 3 days, the patient's body has become increasingly weak and their qi and blood have become weak. We have prescribed some injections to tonify qi and benefit blood, but they have not improved, and the patient's condition is getting worse and worse. Wang Guobing introduced Huang Shaofeng's condition while handing over the examination report and medical records to Professor Lu and others, but he did not notice that the few people widened their eyes and looked at the hospital bed, or more accurately, at Huang Shaofeng on the bed. Just now, Wang Guobing had just averted his gaze from Huang Shaofeng and was introducing himself to those seniors when Huang Shaofeng suddenly opened his eyes. His deep and sharp gaze briefly dazzled everyone who saw him. Early this morning, the light cluster in Huang Shaofeng's mind suddenly emitted a dazzling light. The light was absorbed by his eyes and began to merge into them, causing a strange change in his eyes. At the same time, the scattered light integrated into his mind, and the light cluster completely disappeared. At this moment, his consciousness returned to his body, but his body and eyelids could not move, so he had to lie quietly, listening to his brother's self-talk, and also had a rough understanding of the causes and consequences. At the moment Huang Shaofeng opened his eyes, he was stunned by everything in front of him. Several skeletons stood in front of him, and he could clearly see the intestines, heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys inside the skeletons. Thinking of being in the hospital, he felt normal and thought to himself, this hospital is also too unreliable. How can we put these in the ward? Huang Shaofeng blinked and stood up, wanting to pry open several skeletons in front of him, when suddenly the skeletons transformed into human figures. Ah! A scream came out, and Huang Shaofeng collapsed on the hospital bed again, his eyes wide open, his face pale, and he was not lightly frightened. The figure in front of him once again turned into a skeleton, and his heart was inexplicably shocked. Is this new technology? Young man. Are you awake? Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere? Do you have any dizziness or headaches? In Huang Shaofeng's eyes, it's amazing that a skeleton has to touch and speak to itself. Can I see through Chapter 5? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Professor Lu asked a few questions, but Huang Shaofeng didn't react. He turned his head to look at Dr. Wan and said, "This young man isn't going to be foolish, is he? Maybe he's injured his brainstem and lost his memory." Dr. Wan also stepped forward and directly grasped Huang Shaofeng's pulse, starting to diagnose his pulse. He closed his eyes and carefully examined his pulse, before finally opening his eyes to look at Huang Shaofeng's face. That's not right. This young man is not sick. His qi and blood are a bit weak, and he only needs to recuperate for a period of time to recover. Ah! Huang Shaofeng reacted at this moment, "I'm not sick, it's just. I was scared for a while, I'm already fine." At this moment, Huang Shaofeng sat up again and knew that there was a living person in front of him, not a skeletal specimen. He had also forgotten about what had just happened. Professor Lu and Dr. Wan came forward to ask some questions, and Huang Shaofeng answered truthfully. After repeated diagnoses, the two of them glared at Dr. Wang and left with everyone, leaving Dr. Wang with a bewildered expression. He looked at the departing leader and Huang Shaofeng, who stood up. Huang Shaobing, who was anxiously waiting outside the ward, saw a group of experts and professors leaving the ward. He quickly turned around and entered the ward. Seeing Huang Shaofeng sitting up on the hospital bed, he couldn't help but burst into tears of joy. "Xiaofeng, you're awake. You're really awake." Huang Shaofeng also saw his second brother and quickly got out of bed to embrace him, smiling and shouting, "Second brother." Huang Shaobing and Huang Shaofeng embraced each other, patting each other. At this moment, brotherly affection overflowed in the sick room, and it took them a while to let go. Huang Shaofeng saw Dr. Wang beside him and immediately smiled awkwardly, saying, "Dr. Wang, thank you." Dr. Wang also calmed down and said with a hint of embarrassment, "Saving lives and helping the injured is my duty, no need to thank me." "Oh. After all, your brother has been unconscious for a few days, and although he is now awake, I don't know if there are any hidden injuries. I suggest that your brother undergo a full body examination, so he can feel at ease even if he is not sick." Huang Shaofeng thought about it and prepared to have Huang Shaofeng undergo a check-up. However, before he could speak, Huang Shaofeng interrupted him and said, "Thank you for Dr. Wang's kindness. I feel very well, so I won't have the check-up. Let's go ahead and get discharged." Wang Guobing is not bad, he is an honest and responsible doctor, so he wrote a discharge summary for him. Huang Shaofeng accidentally glanced at Wang Guobing and saw a clear skeletal specimen again. His gaze shifted upwards and he suddenly discovered a blood vessel obstruction above Wang Guobing's right ear, with a small lump near the vessel. This discovery surprised him. I took a deep breath and tentatively asked, "Dr. Wang, have you been having frequent headaches lately, just above your right ear, right?" Wang Guobing subconsciously replied, It's been raining these days, and my mind is a bit painful. It really hurts on the right side." "How do you know? Are you also studying medicine?" Huang Shaofeng's heart was stirred as his conjecture came true. He thought to himself, "Can I see through it?" He suppressed his excitement and said calmly, "Dr. Wang, you should go take a movie to see it. The doctor is also human, don't be sick and still don't know." After listening, Wang Guobing was stunned for a while, and his movements also stopped. He seemed to have made a decision in his heart, quickly printed the discharge summary, and handed it to Huang Shaofeng. Watching Huang Shaofeng and his companions leave, Wang Guobing thought for a moment and issued himself a checklist. After listening to Huang Shaofeng's advice, he took a film. Half an hour later, a CT film appeared in front of him. Wang Guobing couldn't help but feel scared holding the film because there was a lump on the right side of his head, suspected to be a tumor. Fortunately, it was discovered in a timely manner, otherwise the consequences would be very serious. After discharge, Huang Shaofeng's body was still very weak, and he felt a bit unsteady when walking. Huang Shaofeng was very worried and took Huang Shaofeng to find a small hotel so that his younger brother could rest well and buy some delicious food to make up for it. Unexpectedly, just a few hundred meters away, the Huang Shaofeng brothers stopped in front of a beef noodle restaurant because Huang Shaofeng felt too hungry and didn't know why. At this moment, he couldn't move his steps, just like someone who hadn't eaten or drunk for several days saw food. "Second brother, let's go eat something. I'm really hungry," Huang Shaofeng said with a hint of embarrassment. Huang Shaofeng certainly wouldn't stop him. When he entered the noodle shop, he directly ordered 2 bowls of beef noodles, the same as the big bowl. Huang Shaofeng followed closely behind Huang Shaofeng and walked towards the beef noodle restaurant. He accidentally noticed that the person next door was buying lottery tickets, and there were several people inside discussing which numbers to buy. Suddenly thinking of his own eyes, he shouted to Huang Shaofeng in front of him, "Second brother, go ahead and I'll be right there." He went straight to the lottery store next door, saw the scratch paper in the box, looked at the rules again, and then focused on looking over. In the first row, there were only 3 lottery tickets winning, and the denominations were not large. However, he was inexplicably excited because he was sure he could see through the lottery tickets. Standing in front of the scratch music box, Huang Shaofeng watched for more than 10 minutes before picking out 5 lottery tickets. He scraped them open on the spot, as he had seen, and 3 of them won, namely 10 yuan, 400 yuan, and 8,000 yuan, just as he had seen through perspective. "Boss, can I redeem lottery tickets here?" Huang Shaofeng asked with a bit of confidence as he was playing lottery for the first time. The boss is a middle-aged man with a friendly smile on his face and said, "Within 10,000 yuan, you can redeem the prize from me." "Did you win, sir?" Huang Shaofeng had a green smile on his face and politely said, I won 3 tickets. Could you please cash in the bonus, boss? The boss took the lottery ticket from Huang Shaofeng's hand and looked down, saying, Oh, hello. Sir, you're lucky. You won 8,410 yuan. Is it a transfer or cash? Huang Shaofeng thought for a moment and said, Transfer the money. The boss was also a cheerful person. He transferred the money to Huang Shaofeng on the spot. Huang Shaofeng left the lottery shop excitedly and returned to the beef noodle restaurant, his face full of joy that could not be concealed. Huang Shaofeng saw his younger brother's cheerful expression and asked with encouragement, What are you happy about, little brother? People who don't know think you found money. Hee hee. Second brother, I really found the money, over 8,000, Huang Shaofeng's face furrowed, as if he had never seen the money before. Huang Shaofeng was startled and said, Really? Little brother, you really found the money. Where did you find it? You can't do anything bad. Huang Shaofeng's reaction was a bit loud, and his voice also increased a bit, startling everyone in the noodle shop. He looked over and his eyes were a bit strange. Huang Shaofeng didn't expect his second brother to have such a big reaction. He was stunned for a moment and only realized it after a while. He quickly grabbed his second brother and asked him to sit down. He then looked at everyone with embarrassment and said, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Chapter 6. Chu Hanyue. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Although Huang Shaofeng was pressed down and sat down, his hanging heart had not yet settled. Huang Shaofeng was important to his family and parents, a glory of the family, and the only college student in the village. He did not want his younger brother to go astray. As soon as he sat down, he pulled Huang Shaofeng and asked, What's going on, little brother? Your parents have high expectations for you, so don't be a bad student. That way, your parents will be very sad. Huang Shaofeng was speechless and quickly explained, Second brother, what are you thinking? I mean, you just won the lottery, don't make a fuss. When Huang Shaofeng heard that his younger brother was buying lottery tickets, he still felt uneasy and said, That little brother. Lottery is gambling, it's best not to play. If you don't have money, my sister and I will give it to you, you know. Huang Shaofeng leaned on his forehead and didn't know how to explain it. He couldn't tell his second brother that he bought the lottery because he could see through it. Buying lottery tickets is no different from picking up money. He couldn't say that, so he comforted his second brother and said, Second brother, I know. Let's have noodles first, I'm so hungry. Huang Shaofeng was eating noodles for a moment while pondering his own eyes. After being beaten, he woke up and realized that his eyes had the ability to see through. Suddenly, he remembered that when he was hit the first time, he broke his head and wanted to get up. Suddenly, his head pricked and he fell into a coma. Could it be that there was something unexpected at that time? Huang Shaofeng saw that Huang Shaofeng was absent-minded and had been arguing about his hunger just now. So what happened? What's wrong with you, little brother? Is the noodles not delicious? They don't taste right. Huang Shaofeng was awakened by his second brother and immediately cleared his mind. He said, It's okay. The noodles are delicious, and I want to have another bowl. Second brother, why don't you also have a bowl? He raised his hand and ordered 2 bowls of beef noodles, not giving his brother a chance to refuse. Huang Shaofeng was eating noodles and casually asked, Second brother, are you still working in the county town? Huang Shaofeng chuckled and said, It's close to home, and my dad's legs are not very convenient. If there's anything I can do, I can help. Huang Shaofeng also understood this and said, Second brother, I will have my graduation certificate in 3 months. I will also start working and my family will be better. Perhaps my father's leg can also come to a large hospital for treatment. After a moment of pause, he said, And that second brother, you see that I'm sick now and I don't need you to take care of me at all. Why don't you go back first? If I'm sick, don't tell my parents. I'll try to come home after the graduation ceremony. Huang Shaofeng said, I took a leave, you don't have to worry. I still need to accompany you for a few more days. I can only go back when you are really well. Don't worry about my parents, I won't say anything, and I don't want them to worry. In the end, Huang Shaofeng couldn't resist his second brother and followed Huang Shaobing to a hotel where he opened a small suite for 3 days. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye, and Huang Shaobing realized that his younger brother had fully recovered before returning home with peace of mind. Before leaving, he left Huang Shaofeng 3,000 yuan to recuperate his body. Because during these 3 days, Huang Shaofeng was so good at eating. Ordinary people have 3 meals a day, with at most an afternoon tea or late-night snacks. Huang Shaofeng eats 7 or 8 meals a day, as if he hasn't eaten enough, always looking for something to eat. This is also the reason why his second brother keeps 3,000 yuan. Huang Shaofeng saw off his second brother Huang Shaobing on the bus back home, and he himself got on the bus, preparing to rush back to school. He was about to graduate, and he didn't go to school for a few days without any worries. In front of the female dormitory building of Jiangqing University of Science and Technology, a white Porsche parked in front of Building 6 of Qingxin Garden. A luxurious young man holding a handful of roses quietly looked at the entrance of the building with full confidence. He has beautiful eyes, a tall nose bridge, jet black hair, fair skin, and a pair of glasses, giving people a feeling of elegance and affinity. However, the darkness in his eyes reveals his nature. At around 11 o'clock in the afternoon, youthful and beautiful figures walked out of the dormitory building, and one of the girls appeared as if a white swan was standing among the chickens, making the other women pale. Her clear and bright pupils, curved willow eyebrows, and long eyelashes tremble slightly. Her fair and flawless skin exudes a faint blush, and her 2 rosy lips are seductive, making people want to rush up and take a bite. She is the top 10 campus beauties of Jiangqing University of Science and Technology. Chu Hanyue. She also has a chilling identity. The little princess of the Chu family, and the Chu family is also the head of the 3 major aristocratic families in Jiangqing. The old master of the Chu family has a prominent identity, once serving as a close guard for a leader. Later, she was promoted by the leader and became a special forces instructor. When she retired, she was already a major general. Chu Hanyue, be my girlfriend. The young man quickly approached Chu Hanyue, knelt on one knee, looked at her attentively, and held roses in his hands before her. Su Jishuan, you're not finished. If you don't let us go, believe me or not, do you believe that I'll beat you? Chu Hanyue shouted fiercely, and as soon as she spoke, she looked like a little girl. Su Jishuan's face suddenly changed, as if he was really afraid of Chu Hanyue hitting him. His body stood up like a spring. Hanyue, we are childhood sweethearts. I pursued you with the tacit consent of both elders. Getting engaged is a matter of time, why do you need it? Chu Hanyue didn't buy it and said, I've had many childhood sweethearts with you. You go marry them. I'm not rare. Suddenly, a playful expression appeared on his face, besides, I already have a boyfriend. I'll take him home in a few days and let my great-grandfather make the decision. Su Jishuan was full of doubt and said, it's impossible. I know everything about your school and I've never seen you have a boyfriend. It's useless for you to lie. Then you wait. Hee hee. Chu Hanyue left with a smile on her face, following a few girls. Su Jishuan could only make way and reluctantly watched Chu Hanyue leave. Huang Shaofeng happened to pass by Building 6 of Qingxin Garden. The scene just now happened to fall into his eyes, but he never joined in the fun and walked over on his own. In the dormitory, Guo Xiang, Peng Zhicheng, and Huang Wenjie were eating when Huang Shaofeng pushed open the door and walked in. The 3 of them almost looked at each other at the same time and lost interest when they saw him coming in. Huang Wenjie asked, where have you been these days? Is it true that Li Jun said you were beaten? Huang Shaofeng said, A disaster without any consequences. What about Li Jun? It's not interesting enough. When he saw me being beaten up, he actually slipped away on his own. It's still true. Huang Wenjie replied, Are you okay? Where have you been these days? You're not hiding, are you? Like that kid Li Jun. Huang Shaofeng whispered, You're hiding. Those people didn't come to find him that day, did they? I've become a scapegoat, oh my god, I'm really unlucky. Guo Xiang took the conversation and said, That boy Zhang Lijun dares to borrow high-interest loans just for the sake of a woman. It's good if he doesn't die. Chapter 7 is unforgettable at a glance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What are you saying? Zhang Lijun borrows high-interest loans. Huang Shaofeng couldn't believe this. Although Zhang Lijun is a licking dog, he is still rational. How could he borrow high-interest loans? Guo Xiang sneered and said, You don't know yet. The loan sharks have been looking for him for a long time, and they even found us in our dormitory to send a message to him. If we don't repay the money, we will kill him. Huang Shaofeng had the best relationship with Zhang Lijun and asked with concern, Xiang, do you know how much money Lijun borrowed? I don't know, I just know they want him to pay back 80,000 yuan, Peng Zhiqing interjected. What .80000? Zhang Lijun is crazy. Huang Shaofeng felt that Zhang Lijun was crazy, so he borrowed money from high-interest loans, and it was still 80,000 yuan, which is not a small amount. Then a few people began to talk about finding a job, and every word they said was difficult, all of them were pouring out their frustrations. Peng Zhiqing said helplessly, Damn it, it's really difficult to find a job now. The salary and benefits are not good, and there are also a lot of requirements. Every position requires a bachelor's degree and more than 3 years of work experience. Do we still need to live? Guo Xiang said, Now when we step out of the school gate, there are college students everywhere. It's also graduation season, and there are people looking for jobs everywhere. We don't have much advantage, and if we can find a job, we'll be blessed. Peng Zhiqing said, The city has many tricks, and I have to go back to the countryside. My dad asked me to go home and take the civil service exam. I'm not familiar with the place here in Jiangqing, and there are still some connections at home. Brothers, wish me great success. Huang Wenjie said, All right. I wish Brother Qin good luck in his official career. He will be promoted to department chief for 1 year, director for 2 years, and little honey for 3 years. Huang Wenjie's words of encouragement immediately ignited the atmosphere, and everyone burst into laughter. At this moment, they forgot about their troubles and the difficulty of finding a job. Huang Shaofeng listened for a while but didn't say a word. He took out his second-hand phone, found Zhang Lijun's number, and dialed it out. Soon, a mechanical sound came from the receiver, indicating that the phone was turned off. Huang Wenjie sat next to Huang Shaofeng and knew he was calling Zhang Lijun. He said, No need to call. Wenkai said he went home and didn't dare to turn on his phone. Sigh. Is it worth it for a woman? Are you still going out this afternoon, Shaofeng? Peng Zhiqing asked. Huang Shaofeng pretended to be sickly and said, Yes, I'm still feeling a bit uncomfortable. I'll rest in the dormitory in the afternoon. Peng Zhiqing said, After 2 o'clock, can you help me collect the package? In the afternoon, Huang Shaofeng was sleeping soundly when he was woken up by the sound of a loudspeaker. It was only then that he remembered Peng Zhiqing asking him to collect the package. He woke up in a few moments and went to the guard room downstairs to collect a large package, but he didn't know what was inside and insisted that he keep it. Now that I can't sleep anymore, why not take a stroll on Chongwen Road? Huang Shaofeng thought for a moment before deciding to go out. Chongwen Road is named after Chongwen Academy and is one of the largest cultural and antique markets in Jiangqing. It is mainly a place for trading ancient books, paintings, stamps, currency, and other items. Occasionally, other antiques also appear, and most of the people who come here under their own names are literati and refined scholars. There is a very famous bookstore on Chongwen Road. Boya Bookstore, with a collection of books that is not inferior to provincial libraries, but also slightly better than wide, extensive, and miscellaneous books. Many students come here to search for old books in order to save money, and this is also Huang Shaofeng's destination this time. Huang Shaofeng walked into Boya Bookstore and went straight to a bookshelf to search for books. The bookshelf was filled with medical books, including Western medicine classics and traditional Chinese medicine classics. He came here for a year just to find a way to treat his father's legs. However, as an outsider, he wants to master complex medical knowledge through self-study and apply it, just like a fantasy. However, he has a strong and stubborn personality, and even 9 cows cannot be pulled back. The Difficult Classic and Yellow Emperor's Inner Canon on this bookshelf are both classic works of traditional Chinese medicine, with difficult and difficult to understand content. Huang Shaofeng also jotted down the contents, but he was unaware of their meaning and did not play their role. Huang Shaofeng once again took down the Yellow Emperor's Inner Canon and began reading it. He had read it no less than 100 times, but he had only a partial understanding of its content and did not understand its profound meaning. He had to read it repeatedly, hoping to understand its meaning through multiple readings. Suddenly, an incredible thing happened. He couldn't understand the Yellow Emperor's Inner Canon at first glance, and even had the confidence to operate the techniques in the book with his own hands. Everything in front of him left him stunned and he had no idea what had happened. What's wrong with me? Did I suddenly become smarter? Such a difficult to understand classical Chinese, I can understand its meaning and still remember it. Chen Feng shook his head, feeling that everything that happened was like a dream, too unreal, as if he had not woken up yet and was dreaming. He started flipping through the Yellow Emperor's Inner Canon again and had a peculiar idea in his heart. Although he didn't know the reason yet, he not only had the ability to remember everything, but also understood the difficult classical Chinese texts. However, he knew that all of this would only benefit him and not harm him. He should take the opportunity to gain more benefits and read as many medical classics as he could. 3 hours later, Huang Shaofeng has been consulting medical classics. After reading the Yellow Emperor's Internal Classic, he has consulted the 81 Difficult Classic of the Yellow Emperor, the Shenong's Herbal Classic, the 8 Miraculous Meridians, the Acupuncture and Moxibustion Classics A and B, the Acupuncture and Moxibustion de Shang, the Lei Gong Pao Zhiluan, and the Lingshu Sutra, all of which have been recorded in his mind. Until the bookstore closed, Huang Shaofeng reluctantly left and bought some food on the way. When he returned to school, he entered the library. Jiangqing University of Science and Technology also has a medical major and medical books in the library. He planned to go to the library to continue reading medical books and consolidate his knowledge. 2 months have passed in the blink of an eye, and graduation is getting closer and closer. During this period, Huang Shaofeng did not go to work or find a job. He has been soaking in the library, studying various medical classics. His medical knowledge has become increasingly profound, but he has never put it into practice. In order to learn medical skills, he specially bought some human body models, such as human skeleton models, human meridian models, and human body structure models, which were mutually confirmed with the knowledge in medical books, allowing him to have a deeper understanding of the human body. With the improvement of medical knowledge, he wanted to try acupuncture and moxibustion on himself several times, but when he thought of the warning words of acupuncture and moxibustion, he dared not try it easily. After all, acupuncture and moxibustion may cause harm to the body. I'm afraid that if I accidentally prick myself into paralysis, or even paralysis, I will really kill myself. However, he was always unwilling to try his own acupuncture and moxibustion skills without trying his hand. Since he could not test his own acupuncture and moxibustion skills in the human body, he bought some bronze models of acupuncture and moxibustion and had a few addictions. He could not be sure whether his manipulation was correct or whether acupuncture and moxibustion had therapeutic effect just by making things up behind closed doors. Chapter 8. 2 Misunderstandings. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Less than a month before graduation, Huang Shaofeng's graduation defense passed smoothly, and his 4-year college life came to an end just as he received his graduation certificate. Because Huang Shaofeng had his own plans, he did not follow other classmates and busy himself with finding a job, but immersed himself in learning. The library was going to close that day. Huang Shaofeng walked back to the dormitory with a medical book, while wandering around, studying acupuncture and moxibustion technique, without paying attention to the changes in the surrounding scenery. Whispering. Huang Shaofeng felt a soft and comfortable body in his arms, with a faint intoxicating aroma wafting from his nose, making him a bit confused and infatuated. At the same time, there was a soft moan in his arms, as if he had been frightened. Unable to help but look down into his arms, under the hazy moonlight, he suddenly saw a beautiful face of hibiscus in his arms. His cheeks were flushed, his starry eyes were like waves, and his eyes were both panicked and shy, causing his first brother to lose consciousness again. Humph. Rogue scumbag, let go now. Suddenly, a clear and coquettish rebuke was heard in Huang Shaofeng's ear, causing him to feel flustered. He quickly raised his hand and pushed it away, hoping to quickly push away the irritable body in his arms. However, he didn't expect to make a mistake in his busy schedule. His palm coincidentally pushed against a full hill, feeling a warm and elastic sensation, and he immediately withdrew his hand like an electric shock. Stinky thug. Vulgar. Pa, the sound of coquettishness and reprimand rang out again, filled with anger. Before that coquettishness and reprimand could be heard, a pleasant and crisp sound followed. Huang Shaofeng stood dumbfounded, touching his painful cheek with one hand, both angry and helpless. Room 609, Building 6, Qingxinyuan, also known as the Campus Flower Dormitory by Jiangqing University, rushed in. Zheng Yunti immediately closed the dormitory door with her back and propped it up with her back, as if afraid of something rushing in. Her face was still hot and flushed, which was really eye-catching. Little teasy, what's the situation with you? You can't be doing something bad, can you? Chu Hanyue stared at Zheng Yunti's blushing pretty face and spoke up to cheer. Who made our pure school flower move my heart? The rosy and charming little face has drawn out my soul, tsk. A school flower in the dormitory, Jiang Jingting, also interjected to cheer. If Huang Shaofeng were here, he would recognize her because she was the leader of the basketball team. Gao Meifang asked with concern. Number 34, Yunti, are you okay? Number 34, after a while, Zheng Yunti calmed down and said, you two are really unreliable. You don't care about me at all, but my beauty is reliable. Chu Hanyue then asked seriously, what is your situation, little teasy? Why does it look like you're running away? Jiang Jingting also said curiously, yes. You are a famous beauty and academic achiever in technology. Who dares to provoke you? I'm not afraid your fans will spray you to death. The words of the two reminded Zheng Yunti that he seemed to have forgotten what the other person looked like and only wanted to break free from the clutches as soon as possible, so he fled in despair. He's just a dead pervert, a stinky thug, and a scumbag. I forgot to see what he looked like, so I mistakenly stepped on dog poop. Huang Shaofeng, of course, did not know that he had been labeled as a rogue scumbag. As soon as he walked into the dormitory building, he suddenly sneezed a few times, making him look puzzled. What was his situation? The next morning, Huang Shaofeng had breakfast outside, holding a cup of soy milk and 2 glutinous rice chickens in one hand and glutinous rice chicken in the other. It seemed like he couldn't eat enough no matter how much he ate. This has been the case for a while, and he can't be satisfied without eating 7 or 8 meals a day. Bang! When Huang Shaofeng lowered his head to get the glutinous rice chicken, he accidentally collided with someone, and the glutinous rice chicken he had just held in his hand also fell to the ground. "Ah! My book," a crisp and sweet voice exclaimed in surprise, not thinking of itself, but the book that had fallen from its hand. Huang Shaofeng quickly apologized and said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, I'm really sorry." He then squatted down and prepared to pick up the book on the ground. "Don't move. You don't need to pick it up, I'll do it myself." The girl's exclamation came again, and then she bent down to pick up her own book. Huang Shaofeng, who was opposite the girl, was stunned and widened his eyes, as if he had seen something unbelievable. At this moment, his eyes were fixed on the girl's chest, even his breathing became rapid. "Stinky thug. Shameless and vulgar, where are you looking?" The girl noticed Huang Shaofeng's aggressive gaze and shouted loudly at him. Huang Shaofeng was also stunned, bowing and apologizing to the girl while turning and running towards the distance, with a look of panic on his face. What Huang Shaofeng saw in his eyes just now was unbelievable. In his eyes, the clothes on the girl opposite him disappeared one by one, and the scenery that finally entered his eyes was unforgettable for him. He was almost about to perform a nosebleeds on the spot, but fortunately, the girl's screams woke him up. After escaping the scene for more than 10 minutes, Huang Shaofeng still struggled to recover his composure. He could feel the warmth on his face and thought to himself, "Did I have a crush on that girl? Otherwise, how could my heart beat so fast?" After shaking his head, he wanted to shake off the chaotic emotions in his heart and walked towards the direction of Chongwen Road. However, the girl's appearance often flashed in his mind. He had misunderstood the same girl twice, and the girl had been lingering in his heart for a long time. How could he not let go? Half an hour later, Huang Shaofeng walked on the street of Chongwen Road, absent-minded. Unconsciously, he walked past Boya bookstore and came to a street vendor. Suddenly, a familiar figure entered his eyes, and he felt a sudden surge in his heart. Subconsciously, he crouched down and pretended to look at the items on the street vendor, but his attention remained focused on that figure. The vendor saw him squatting in front of the booth and warmly greeted him, "Are you looking for something, young man? You can tell me, maybe I can give you some advice." The vendor is a middle-aged man in his 50s, with a sophisticated appearance and a bit of sophistication. Seeing Huang Shaofeng swaying around his stall, he thought he was looking for something. "Ah, oh. Yes." Huang Shaofeng was awakened by the words of the vendor, and couldn't help but feel like a lie had been exposed. His attention was also diverted to the items at the booth, unconsciously looking towards it. There are many items on the stall of the vendor, including a few ancient books, there are some old stamps, there are some ancient coins, there are several wooden and stone carvings, how many small jade ornaments are there? There are also several large pieces of porcelain and bronze, and so on. Not to mention, those few ancient books really piqued his interest. Huang Shaofeng picked up one of them and started flipping through it. Unexpectedly, upon reading it, he discovered traces of aging. Although it was very hidden, since his eyes mutated, his eyes were extremely sharp, and even his delicate hair couldn't escape his gaze, let alone the signs of fraud on the books. He smiled helplessly and put the book back in his hand. I took another old book and flipped through it page by page, but it was great and lost interest, no doubt it was fake again. Chapter 9. Authenticity. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The stall owner saw Huang Shaofeng reading 2 books in a row, with a clear expression of disappointment on his face. He thought Huang Shaofeng was a master, and he had a clear idea of the quality of the items on his stall. He couldn't find a genuine item even after flipping through the stall. "Are you not satisfied with these books, young man?" Huang Shaofeng nodded and did not answer the vendor's words. Instead, he picked up the next book and continued to examine its content and condition. So, taking one book after another, he looked through the 7 books on the stall, but none of them were satisfactory. When he picked up a painting scroll next to the books, it immediately aroused his interest. After the scroll unfolded, a portrait appeared in front of him. He was an outsider in painting and couldn't see the pros and cons at all. However, he felt a quaint and outdated atmosphere on the scroll in his hand, and his intuition told him that this painting was not ordinary. He immediately wanted to study it carefully and try out his perspective ability. When he used his perspective ability to see it, the picture really changed. The original portrait on the scroll in his hand disappeared and was replaced by a landscape painting scroll, with concise and majestic strokes. Although he was an outsider, he felt that this painting was extraordinary. This is. Huang Shaofeng stared blankly at the landscape painting scroll in his hand and said in astonishment. The stall owner saw Huang Shaofeng's appearance and thought he had a clue, so he quickly spoke up and explained, "If the young man likes this painting, he can transfer the scroll to you at a cheap price. What do you think of 300 yuan? 300. Huang Shaofeng had a surprised expression on his face. Before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted by the vendor. 100. Just 100, no less. The vendor misunderstood Huang Shaofeng's meaning and immediately lowered the price, hoping to retain Huang Shaofeng as a customer and open a new one. In fact, when Huang Shaofeng heard that it was only 300 yuan, he couldn't help but feel a little surprised. Isn't antique trading supposed to be very expensive? Why did the boss offer such a cheap price? Huang Shaofeng remembered at this moment that he could negotiate a price, so he tentatively said, "Boss, you see that this scroll is not well preserved, the signature handwriting is not clear, and the portrait is not very well drawn. At first glance, it doesn't look like a work of a famous artist, but rather like a painting made by an ordinary art student during practice. It has no value at all. I just want to buy something to decorate my home and add some elegance before buying it. Boss, why not do it like this? I'll take 30 yuan, 30 yuan. As he spoke, he also extended 3 fingers. The vendor's face turned pale. Although the painting was very cheap when it was received, the price of 30 was also a bit low. He said, "No, it's too low. At least 80. Mainly because the portrait had been on the booth for over a year, and if it wasn't sold, it would have been smashed in his hands. The boss didn't speak up loudly, and of course, it was also because Huang Shaofeng didn't look like a wealthy person and was afraid of scaring him away. Huang Shaofeng also became interested and continued to negotiate, saying, 40. The two of them came and went, bargaining and bargaining. Huang Shaofeng finally bought the scroll for 50 yuan and continued to look at the other items on his stall. However, after looking at everything, under his binocular perspective ability, there was no more item that caught his attention before he stood up and left. Huang Shaofeng strolled around the street again, while fully activating his perspective abilities and looking at many stalls, but he never noticed again. Instead, his eyes hurt and he had to leave Chongwen Road. On the way back, I suddenly saw Mo Yunxian, a framed calligraphy and painting shop on the roadside, at the intersection of Chongwen Road. Huang Shaofeng suddenly rose up and walked into the shop. Store owner Dong Jianmin was fiddling with his newly purchased item, placing it on the left and then on the right shelf, wanting to see which side felt better. Suddenly, in the corner of his eye, he caught a glimpse of the shop's lighting flickering for a moment before turning around and seeing Huang Shaofeng walking into the store. "Young man, do you want to mount calligraphy and painting photos? My shop is a well-known professional mounting shop in the industry, and I will definitely satisfy you." Huang Shaofeng awkwardly smiled and said, "No, boss. May I ask if your store accepts calligraphy and painting? I happen to have a painting here that I want to sell." Dong Jianmin seemed to have just seen the painting in Huang Shaofeng's arms, and his tone became less enthusiastic. He said, "Young man, take a look at the painting first. If it is valuable and the price is suitable, my store can accept it." Huang Shaofeng let out a soft nod and gently placed the scroll in his hand on the counter in front of him, waiting for the boss to check. He didn't notice it, but just as he placed the scroll on the counter, Dong Jianmin's brow furrowed. However, he didn't express much, but there was a hint of anticipation in his eyes. When Huang Shaofeng placed the scroll, Dong Jianmin carefully opened it. When he saw the painting, a relieved expression appeared on his face, and he silently closed the scroll. "Young man, I won't accept this painting. Take it elsewhere and try it out." Dong Jianmin did not say the authenticity of the painting, which is also an unwritten rule in this industry, but Huang Shaofeng does not understand this. "Boss, can I borrow your small knife and tweezers to use?" Dong Jianmin looked at the scroll with confusion. He had already seen this painting, and not only did he, but also some well-known appraisers on this street had seen it. They unanimously believed that it was a fake painting, and that it lacked any technical skills. At this moment, Huang Shaofeng borrowed his tools. Apart from being puzzled, he handed Huang Shaofeng a small knife and tweezers, as well as a bowl of water, a white towel, and a wool brush. Huang Shaofeng took the tool handed over by the boss and laid the scroll flat on the counter. He picked up a small knife and prepared to peel off the surface layer. Before his knife could get close to the scroll, it was stopped by the boss Dong Jianmin. "Young man, what are you doing? This will damage this painting. You should let the painting get some water first. If you don't know, I can help you." Huang Shaofeng was right when he heard this, so he directly dipped a white towel in some water and wetted the edges of the painting. After feeling almost done, Huang Shaofeng took a small knife and, with the help of his perspective ability, accurately peeled off a corner, exposing the entire corner of the signature. Dong Jianmin didn't pay much attention at first. When Huang Shaofeng uncovered a corner, he glanced at it and was surprised by that glance. He quickly stopped Huang Shaofeng's movements. "Little brother, please wait, let me take a look." Next, without waiting for Huang Shaofeng's permission, he pushed him aside and lay on the exposed corner, carefully observing. When he was confirmed to be correct, an uncontrollable joy appeared on his face. After a while, Dong Jianmin replaced Huang Shaofeng and began to carefully remove the surface layer. The technique was much more professional than Huang Shaofeng, with precise handling of each step, without damaging a single scroll. He completely removed the entire painting, almost lying on top of it, carefully tasting it, and murmuring in detail. Is this a landscape painting of the 8 great mountain people or an authentic work?" After hearing Dong Jianmin's words, Huang Shaofeng looked puzzled and said to himself, "Authentic. Is it very valuable?" Chapter 10. I Became a Millionaire. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Regarding antiques, Huang Shaofeng subconsciously only knows that they are very valuable, but he has no idea what their value is, mainly because he has not been involved in the industry of antiques. After a cup of tea, Dong Jianmin reluctantly averted his gaze and turned to look at Huang Shaofeng. He was dressed in a simple outfit, paired with a pair of sneakers on the street stall. The total cost of his whole body was probably no more than 200 yuan. It was unbelievable that such a poor boy was holding the authentic landscape map of the 8 great mountain people in his hand. "Little brother, do you sell this painting?" "Don't worry, Mo Yunxian has always been honest in his business, and the price he gives you will definitely satisfy you." At this moment, Dong Jianmin's tone was much more polite, with a professional smile from a businessman on his face, and he was speaking politely. Huang Shaofeng was stunned for a while before asking softly, if it were to be sold, how much would the boss be willing to pay? Dong Jianmin pondered for a while before saying, 8 million, while gesturing with his hand. Boss Dong Jianmin's voice sounded like thunder in his ears, causing Huang Shaofeng's heart to thump and almost burst out of his mouth. He tried to calm himself down, but was worried that he might have heard it wrong. He asked again, "Boss, how much did you say?" With the advancement of technology, especially among college students, it is easy to find information online. Dong Jianmin has no confidence at all, as the price is too low. Seeing Huang Shaofeng's reaction again, he is more confident in his speculation. "Little brother, I can offer you a maximum price of 13 million yuan. After all, I also need to operate. Please consider it carefully. Huang Shaofeng glanced at the scroll on the counter, as if feeling reluctant. He didn't move his eyes for a while, but finally seemed to grit his teeth and make a decision, saying, I think the boss is very sincere, so let's make a deal. As soon as he spoke, Huang Shaofeng felt like he was in a dream. He even pinched himself with his hand in secret, feeling real pain, and finally believed that everything was true. Dong Jianmin said, Brother, because the number is not small, I need some time to transfer. You can sit here and have some tea, wait a moment. Greet Huang Shaofeng to sit on the coffee table and personally start brewing tea. A fragrance of tea wafted out. Huang Shaofeng picked up the brownish-red tea soup and sniffed it at his nose, feeling very good. Then he slowly tasted it, and the taste was mellow and sweet. It was his first time drinking such good tea, and he couldn't help but take a few more sips. Dong Jianmin was sipping tea while secretly observing Huang Shaofeng. Through some of Huang Shaofeng's small movements, he could confirm that Huang Shaofeng was a novice and had little knowledge. Being able to pick up this scroll was likely a stroke of luck. I am the boss of Mo Yunxian, with the surname Dong in the name Jianming. I have been chatting with you for a while, but I don't know what you call him. Huang Shaofeng politely replied, Huang Shaofeng, a senior student. Dong Jianmin looked clear and said, Oh. Then I'll call you Xiao Huang, a little older. Have you found a job in your senior year? Huang Shaofeng said, No, it's too hard to find a good job now. Before, I was a little anxious. Now, let's look for it slowly. Dong Jianmin understood and said, So, with this money, even if you don't work, there's no problem, A pot of hot tea was consumed by two people when Dong Jianmin's phone rang. After answering the call, he smiled and said, Xiao Huang, my money is ready now. I wonder if you want cash or a transfer. Huang Shaofeng thought for a while before saying, If the boss doesn't mind, I would like to go to the agricultural bank next door for a transaction. Would that be okay? Dong Jianmin chuckled and said, Xiao Huang. Not bad. It's good for young people to be cautious, I don't mind. I happen to be familiar with it, so it's faster to handle. In fact, Huang Shaofeng has a Yanlong bank card, which was obtained by the school when he was admitted to college. He has not changed it for convenience, but now with this large amount of money, he wants to open a new card and bind it to his own phone for easy use. As soon as he walked into Agricultural Bank of China, the lobby manager noticed Dong Jianmin and politely welcomed them into the VIP reception room. Huang Shaofeng took out his ID card and applied for a bank card, and Dong Jianmin immediately transferred the money in. Dong Jianmin shook hands with Huang Shaofeng and said, Xiao Huang, we have a pleasant cooperation. If you have any good items next time, feel free to come to my store and I will definitely give you a good price. Huang Shaofeng smiled and said, Then I'll thank Mr. Dong first. After Dong Jianmin leaves, Huang Shaofeng still needs to handle some business and communicate with the staff. Hello, I also want to inquire about the limit of this card I opened. What are the permissions? Could you please explain them to me? The bank staff is a young girl with a good appearance, especially her curvaceous figure, which makes her attractive. Mr. Huang, because your deposit exceeds 10 million yuan and you are a VIP customer of our bank, I am the dedicated service personnel assigned by the bank to you, named Li Xinmei. You can call me if you have any funding needs, and I will handle them for you as soon as possible. She introduced the functions of the bank to Huang Shaofeng while intentionally or unintentionally approaching him. She also rubbed her plump area against Huang Shaofeng's arm, causing Huang Shaofeng's face and ears to turn red. In the end, she couldn't bear it and used an excuse to escape. On the way back to school, Huang Shaofeng had a smile on his face and couldn't conceal his inner joy. He thought to himself, I have become a millionaire, which is a bit too dreamy, just like what is written in those novels. Suddenly carrying a huge sum of money, Huang Shaofeng always felt light and ethereal. Various strange ideas flashed in his mind, making him feel confused. Oh my. How come it's you again? Don't you have long eyes when you walk? You always bump into others and hate to be vulgar. A familiar voice came, and you started scolding. When Huang Shaofeng looked at the girl opposite, he could not help but blush. The budding heart was pounding again and stammered, "That's right, I'm sorry. It's my fault, I'm sorry." Originally, while Huang Shaofeng was overthinking, he didn't pay attention to the front and stumbled upon Zengyenti in a daze. Several misunderstandings a day made his heart skip a beat. Zengyenti wrinkled her chiong nose and snorted lightly, saying, "I'm unlucky to have met you." Humph. She snorted again and turned around before leaving. Huang Shaofeng stood still in place, staring at the slender and unique figure from a distance. A strange feeling arose in his heart. The figure had disappeared, and he still stood there, stunned. Crazy person. What are you doing standing here for? Are you stupid? Huang Shaofeng walked towards a handsome boy, who was his classmate Zhou Wenkai and also one of his good classmates. His family was in the catering industry and he was a wealthy second generation, but he was relatively low key. The lunatic was the nickname he gave Huang Shaofeng, which was very popular in college.